The traditional market has been based on a 10% commission model for a very long time.
Right.
And we're here to disrupt that.
And so that was 6% to buy a house, so I always wondered, like, why is it 10% for a boat? Because you sell a $250,000 boat, you're paying $25,000 in fees.
A lot of buyers will find a boat on their own, and therefore there is no need to pay for that co-broker side if there isn't one.
The very soft market at this time, what we're seeing is boats under $200,000 are going out the door. Those are the ones that they're selling, but they're slower than they have been in the past.
Thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. My guests today are Maryline and Amanda with Current Yachts, and they're it's a boat brokerage. They're really plugged into the boat sales market, and they're going to give you the scoop on what's going on with the boat sales and buying and all that. And they are totally disrupting the boat sales market by coming at it from a different direction. So I thought it was pretty interesting, and I think it was a much needed maybe change to the way boats are sold and bought and sold today. And did you know that 70% of the viewers of this podcast on YouTube anyway are actually not subscribed to the channel? So the feedback on this channel has been really positive. I always really enjoyed the podcast and the information. They found it pretty interesting. And so if you'd like a nice way to help support the channel and help it grow, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. So I appreciate that. And if you'd really like to get your questions answered in one of the next upcoming podcasts, you can become a patron. Go to patreon.com/sailingdoodles or sailingdoodles.podia.com and join there, and then I will answer your questions in the next podcast. All right, now let's talk to Maryline and Amanda with Current Yachts. All right, I'm here at the Annapolis Boat Show 2025 at the Current Yachts booth with Maryline and Amanda, and you guys are the founders of Current Yachts.
We are.
Before we get into what you guys do, why don't you kind of give me a rundown of like traditionally what the yacht sales market was like and what you guys are doing differently?
Absolutely. The traditional market has been based on a 10% commission model for a very long time.
Right.
And we're here to disrupt that by moving to a service-based or a fee-based structure.
Okay. So it's just a flat rate. Is it depending on how much you list the boat for, or how does that work?
Well, it's $1,500 to list the vessel on Yacht World, Yachter, and our social media platforms.
Okay.
Then you pay for a-la-carte services, media services, photography, and different standards of it, from regular to professional grade.
So what kind of services can you, so like you can have a professional come take pictures of the boat. What about like things like contracts and all that, and like brokerage, escrow and stuff?
Sure. So all of the standard services or offerings from a traditional licensed yacht broker, we do.
Okay.
We offer that and give that to our clients, basically.
And
So think of it as all the expected service of a professional yacht broker, but with a lower price of entry. So we itemize all these services up front, so the sellers and the buyers actually know how the pricing is established. And then the bulk of the expense is still due at closing. We don't call it commission. It does vary by price bracket, but it's equivalent to maybe about 3.5% of the purchase or the selling price of the boat.
Right.
So it's not going to be as significant as 10%, obviously.
Right.
You pay some of the services up front, and then the rest is still due at closing, but is a fraction of what you would normally pay.
Right.
And then we can get into co-brokerage as well,
Right.
which again, traditionally, you've always paid the bulk of the commission to the listing broker, up to them to split it if there's a co-broker.
Right.
And we're saying, you're paying for our fee, and then the fee you pay to the co-broker as a seller, that's up to you.
Yeah.
And if there isn't one, you shouldn't pay for that side.
I mean, there was a big mix rearrangement like on the real estate thing lately with that. So it was, they said it was standard 6% to sell your house, but they're just saying that's illegal. You can't really force people to do that anymore. And so that was 6% to buy a house. So I always wondered, like, why is it 10% for a boat? Because you sell a $250,000 boat, you're paying $25,000 in fees.
It's a very good question indeed. Yeah. Why is it 10%, first of all? And it hasn't changed since before the internet. Boats are purchased differently now. A lot of buyers will find a boat on their own, and therefore there is no need to pay for that co-broker side if there isn't one. We do the same hand holding that a listing broker doing both sides would do. We guide them along the way. It's up to them if they want to have their buyer side broker to represent their interest.
All right. I guess they could still have their own. Then but they would have to pay their broker like about 5% or something.
It's up for negotiation.
Right.
Okay.
We're actually bringing that conversation to the table.
Okay.
So we let our sellers know that here is our selling expense when
Right.
we sell your boat, and if a buyer's broker comes to the table, how much are you willing to pay them?
Right.
And we're recommending that they pay them 4%,
Okay.
so that the other brokers who are used to making 5
Right.
in the traditional 10% model will still want to play ball.
So I know, like, you know, because so what kind of price range? Because like I know when you're getting into the millions of dollars yachts, these guys have these brokers they've been using for decades, right? And so they just call their guy up, find me a yacht, right? So I mean, are you going after those kind of deals, or what price range of boats?
Our niche market is anywhere from the $400,000 to $4 million range. Yes.
Okay. And what I mean. So you were talking about, like, you know, the internet. I mean, like, that's what I do if I'm just kind of boats shop. I just get on Yacht World and start looking around. But the thing about Yacht World too is you have to be a broker to list on there too, right?
You
or
do.
Is that what it is?
Right. You have to be a broker, and the fees are going a lot higher to be able to advertise on that platform. And that's why we're seeing a lot of fragmentation in the industry right now, is there's being a lot of pushback to these platforms or these MLS listing sites. And we're able to offer an alternative.
Yeah.
And the truth is, a lot of brokers are actually pushing back against the old way to list boats on Yacht World, for example, because it's not delivering as well as it used to. So there are other ways to generate leads, and we're currently advertising on Yachter and Yacht World and all the other platforms, but it's always up for discussion, and there's a price point at which yacht brokers will say no, and some have started saying no. So it's going to keep changing. In fact, we wrote a white paper on the disruption of the market, which you can download on the website, and it talks about the disruption that this price push by Yacht World has applied on the brokerage industry.
How much did they increase their prices?
Over threefold in 3 years.
Really? That much in 3 years?
That much, yeah.
That's amazing. Is that... They just think they can squeeze the money out of people, or
Yes, they have the monopoly right now.
They have a monopoly of it, so they probably see the writing on the wall. It's going to end. They're just making hay while the sun shines.
Right, and they did get bought out by a private equity.
A few years back, so they might be preparing their exit. We're just speculating, obviously.
Correct, obviously.
But the point is, everybody is reviewing their marketing efforts and the ROI on those investments, and it's, you know, we're not saying it's going to be working forever. Perhaps it kind of stopped working a little bit ago and it has us concerned. So we're preparing that future too. And we're heavily investing in marketing the boats where the buyers are. And we're doing so in multiple different ways. Obviously, events is one, targeted digital marketing is another, and a lot of different people are wanting to create a better kind of a directory for a boat to be sold. The challenge is it's a lot of inaccurate data, it's a lot of ghost listings and bad listings.
And when it's too niche market, then not all the eyes go to just one place.
Right.
So that's what we have to combat and go against. And, you know, it's going to be changing, and we're here to roll with those changes and give the consumer and the buyer and help them keep more money in their pockets.
But when did y'all go live with your company? Like
just 2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago, okay.
Yeah.
What's been the reaction from the old school brokerage and all that? Have you gotten a lot of pushback yet?
Honestly, a lot of them are saying that is really smart.
Yeah.
They can't really argue with what we're doing, because we're actually still offering the great services, and we're willing to pay them for their services when they bring us a buyer.
Yeah. Oh, because they're still, that's true. I mean, you're still 4% or whatever.
Absolutely.
And to add to the list side, itemizing the media services up front means you're going to have stellar photography and video.
Right.
Frankly, it's appalling when $1 million listing has only about 20 pictures and no walkthrough video. Like, that should not happen. That's an anomaly.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're here to elevate the profession, elevate the level of listings and the quality of those listings, and also the way we do business, because the first thing that we do too when we help buyers, because we also have buyers, is just verify if there is like a seller disclosure on a vessel.
Right.
We're wasting people's time if we're not holding their hand the proper way, and the buyer guidance is also important for Current Yachts, and we have our very own representation agreement, because if you don't know this, if you are not signing an agreement with a buyer broker, you are de facto you're working with a sub-agent of the seller,
of the listing broker.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's not like real estate. There's a lot of differences there.
So we're one of the first brokerages to offer a buyer's representation agreement.
Okay.
And we're willing to give up to 2% of our 5% commission as a buyer's credit.
Okay, so if you come
At closing.
and the boat that is not listed with Current Yachts,
Correct.
then it's listed somewhere else.
Right.
Then they get 2% basically back on their thing.
A buyer's credit, yeah. When we're representing the buyer and they're actually signing, which has never been done before in this industry, a buyer's representation agreement with Current Yachts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the other things that we're doing is our technical platform. No one else has done this. We have 2 technical co-founders that are MIT grads that have built out our platform, and we're going to show a lot more transparency when it comes to leads, how the boat is doing, how many people are actually looking at it, how many people have put in an inquiry around this.
That'd be interesting
and the
if you could-
dashboard is showing that.
How many times do you click on the listing to look at it? So if it's getting if you're getting 100 looks, but you know nobody's actually inquiring, maybe that says something about the price, or maybe
Right, and you can actually keep track of that as the owner. I don't know how many times I've heard from people like, I haven't talked to my broker in months, I don't know how my boat is doing. And here they can actually check in on the back end of their dashboard and look and see how their vessel is performing, and put in a chat to their broker and say, hey, should we adjust the price point right now? Why is my boat not getting the traction that it needs? What do we need to change?
Right.
And that's all there in our technical platform that we've built behind the scenes, plus ID verification, a lot of other things that we've done. No one else has been able to list a boat, pay for their services online.
Yeah.
And sign the listing agreement. So if someone has never listed a boat before, we're holding their hand in a different way. We allow them to build their listing entirely online, or only as little as is required to sign the listing agreement online. So they do so by creating an account. They go, they enter their details, they scan their information of their boat ownership data. So it could be a U.S. Coast Guard documented boat or a title. We recognize the data from the field, we pull this out, we let them fill out the other information, they upload their photos, because if they have their own photos, we'll use those. If they're great, fantastic. If we want to supplement, we might suggest it. We walk them all the way through to the location and the condition of the boat, and we have a pricing tool. It's still in beta mode, but we have created our own proprietary pricing vessel, pricing tool for the vessels, where you can view the
Low,
historical
medium,
data
high,
for your boat.
So say you're a Beneteau 50 and it's a 2010. So you go back and look at all the Beneteau 50s that have sold in the last 2 years.
We do this behind the scene. It will tell you, based upon the information you've entered, your boat price will be between these figures, and that's based on 5 listings since X date.
Right.
So it's very transparent. We can provide that report to you. You can chat with us online too if in the middle of the process you want to have like a gut check. You're like, wait, I'm thinking this boat perhaps should be worth more. What do you think? But for someone who's never sold a boat, why not let them start the process online? So they sign the listing agreement online, we countersign it. We can get their boat online the next day. If you ask anyone,
that's fast.
it can take weeks to get a boat listed, and we think that's just not okay. It's too slow.
So a little bit different there. So you guys are pretty plugged into the boat market right now. What is the boat market like? I mean, like, are boats selling fast? What's going on with that?
It's a very soft market at this time. What we're seeing is boats under $200,000 are going out the door.
So that's probably cash buyers?
Cash buyers.
Cash buyers.
There's the big difference. And then the big boats, or the more expensive boats, I would say 1.5 and above, are actually still selling, and they're going into charter fleets for the tax advantages. So the people, they're just using that to write off their taxes and stuff like that. So it's the $500,000 million boats that probably people would be using for personal stuff that they'd have to get a loan on and pay 7% interest. That's the ones that aren't selling. Right. Those are the ones that they're selling, but they're slower than they have been in the past. That's why we're calling it a soft market now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how has the boat show been for you here, guys?
It's been a great start to this boat show. I think a lot of people are talking about it and getting the buzz because this is such a new model.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. When we first talked about it a few weeks ago, I was pretty interested in doing that. I think it's 10% has always seemed. There was probably a time for that. We were talking about it. When
absolutely.
30 years ago, you needed a Rolodex of people that were buying and selling boats, and now it's all online.
Right.
That's the first thing people do is go to Yacht World and look, or Facebook Marketplace or something.
Yep.
So it's not who you know anymore.
It's not. And when they were paying for the print advertising and the magazines and things, it's all changed now.
Yeah.
It really has.
Well, back in the day, I remember you go pick up a magazine and just take a look at the listings. That's how you did it.
Yeah, that's how you found them.
Yeah, okay for all that. So, well, cool, guys. I think it's a pretty innovative solution here to buying and selling. Anything else you guys want to add about your product or anything like that?
No, it's
We're going to be, I don't know when the video is going
Let's-
out,
yeah.
but we're
Probably
going to be
tomorrow, maybe.
at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show. We have an open house
Okay.
with 3 listings available on display.
Oh, really? The boats are gonna be there?
By Current Yachts. So we're going to be right by the show, walking distance to the boat show that typically doesn't have sailing yachts.
sailboats, right.
So we have 2 cats
Oh, really?
and
you're
a
gonna
monohull.
have sailboats
3
in
sailboats.
the Fort Lauderdale
Within
show.
Just
walking
outside.
distance.
Oh, just okay, within walking distance. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So check out the website. It's on the events page.
I love the Fort Lauderdale show. It's one of my favorite. They don't have any sailboats. I'm like,
Yeah.
but-
So now you can come and hang out
All right,
with us if you
all right, we'll
want.
do it. So, all right, so there's links down below to get in touch with them if you want to buy or sell a boat. And yeah, thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you,
Bobby.
Bip.
All right,
Thank you,
guys.
Bobby. Appreciate
Sure.
it.
No problem. All right, guys, thanks for tuning into the podcast. Really appreciate it. Again, if you wouldn't mind, make sure you're actually subscribed to the channel. As I said, only about 70% of the viewers are subscribed. It would really help me out a lot. And if you would like your question answered in the next podcast, become a patron, patreon.com/sailingdoodles, or you can join the Sailing Doodles Navy at sailingdoodles.podia.com. All right, guys, thanks so much. We'll see you on the next podcast.